Hello. So this is part 4 of how to rebind the Bible an easy way. So we're going to discuss prepping the Bible, but before we do that, I want to cover 3 or 4 items from the previous videos that I missed. So on the measurements video, um, I talked about gluing the inside cover and matching it to this line, gluing it down. So what I forgot to mention, 2 things here was after they're both glued, so they get glued, rolled, um, they get flipped over, and then it gets trimmed. So I forgot to mention the trimming part. It might be obvious, but it might not be obvious. So I wanted to mention it because you want to cut the leather originally a little bit bigger, and then when you trim it back, you'll get it completely square and exactly the right size that you want. The next item with this part, a section that could take a lot of time if you're not ready for it, is trying to get this part that goes in the Bible to be spaced evenly. So the way to do that is with this paper, after it's been glued, your marks are actually already here. So in this case, the Bible we're working on, it fits. This is going to come up and the Bible will sit here. So we want this to be cut off. So it's about 3/8 of an inch again to cut. So the line we would cut would be up to here and across here. So a piece about that size would come out of there. So this makes it much easier to find your center and cut the right amount. So that's from the last video. The other item that I wanted to mention was in that I call this an easy method. So let's say if the reason that is because we have this paper here that keeps everything straight and square. So as an example, I started working on the outer piece of leather and thinning down the sides, paring the leather, getting it ready for the corners. So what happens is, to do this right and get the leather thin, the leather's going to stretch. So with this stretching, now it becomes a little bit more difficult to make a completely even Bible or cover. So by having this intact here, this will get glued down and rolled, so it'll be completely flat. And afterwards, this won't matter and it won't interfere with the size of the cover. If we try to work off of this dimension and lay the inside cover in here and cut it, that could work, but we would just have to be very careful not to stretch the leather. And also, though, it would be difficult for a 1-inch spine like this is. So also back to what I mentioned earlier, here is the cut piece of leather. So now about the Bible prep, I'm going to explain what I'm going to be doing to the Bible, and then you guys will see it in the last video. So here's the finished Bible. I showed this in the other videos, but what I did this morning really quick was I painted these edges, and I tried a watercolor originally, which didn't work, and I had to rub it off a little bit. So today I tried the leather water stain silver, which is an additive for the other leather colors. So here's some water stains from Tandy Leather that are used on leather. This is an additive that gets added to these stains. So I applied this directly to the pages as an ink, and it worked really well. So what I'll do for this Bible is I am going to use a distress stain, which is a green, a sage green, and add some of the silver agent, mix it together, and then apply it to the edge of the Bible. After it's applied, I will set this down, add a weight, a book and a weight, and use a hair dryer to dry the edge, make sure that it doesn't wrinkle. So that's how the edges will be done. This is the top section, so I'm going to reuse this because the color's fine for it to go with the green and the copper cover. So we'll reuse that. 2 ribbons will be glued, and I'm going to reinforce the spine with this. Now, on this cover, I left this part of the spine. This is from the manufacturer, and I have removed this in the past, but at this time I don't see a reason to remove it, since it does have it does secure the spine a little bit more. Now, if I did remove it and reinforced it with this, it would probably make the Bible, the hinge and the spine here, stay a little bit flatter. So I still might do it. I need to think about it, but I'll mention it in the next video. So sometimes I've taken it off, other times I've glued this back down. So I'll take a look at that, but it'll just be stain, ribbon, reinforced spine, and after it dries, then I'll add it to the finished cover in the next video. Thank you.